Welcome back. I'm Rain Chocolate, and I'm joined with moderator. We're going to be commentating on Triumvirate against VYDRA Relolded, according to the way it's spelled, even though people say Reloaded. So Triumvirate has brought 2 Typhoons, 2 Fleet Hurricanes, an Augur, 2 Sweeples, 2 Confessors, and a Vigil.
VYDRA Reloaded has brought their flagship Balgorn, a pair of Astartes, a Guardian, a Vigilant, 2 Blackbirds, 2 Purifiers, and a Hound. So, Rain, what is VYDRA going to be trying to do with that flagship Balgorn?
Well, hopefully keep it alive and win the match, since this is still the loser's bracket, and once they lose this match, then whoever loses this match is out of the tournament. So hopefully they're going to put this Balgorn. They actually didn't bring it in closer like most people have been doing with their Balgorns. It's still at range, but they're going to want to try and utilize those newts and those webs to pin down the enemy team to apply damage.
We can already see that there are jams from the Blackbirds going onto the Augur to try to shut off reps, and they're trying to jam the Vigil. They want the Vigil jam so that they can't actually use it to apply the target painters onto the Purifiers so that their bombers can survive longer. Looks like the initial primary is going to be one of the Typhoons or the Fleet Hurricanes for VYDRA. And we can see that the control bar is starting to ramp up on their side, as well as a nice attack bar, while Triumvirate has no control so far.
Yeah, so they're quickly and rapidly destroying this Typhoon, and it looks like, though their attempts on the Augur are shown on screen, they actually were successful. Otherwise, I would expect this Augur to be keeping this Typhoon alive, and he's almost in structure.
Yeah, with the damage that's been putting out, it looks like these are going to be Railgun Astartes, supported by 3 bombers. That's a lot of damage, and it's being felt by Triumvirate as they lose the first Typhoon of King Voodoo.
Yeah, so they're immediately focusing, VYDRA's immediately focusing on Tri's DPS ships. As long as they can keep this Augur jammed, he's not really worth anything, so I don't think they're going to want to focus him first over these Typhoons, who can still apply lots of damage.
That looks like what the primary will be. We can see that the Typhoon has been painted and webbed, so those bombs are going to apply perfect damage onto them. Meanwhile, the Purifiers and the Blackbird are now going to be primaried against VYDRA, and it looks like the reps are sustaining just nicely, while the Typhoon is absolutely being cut like a knife through butter.
Yeah, and if you're watching this Typhoon, he actually has rep bots on him, although this Balgorn has gotten in really close and is using a smart bomb to try to get rid of these medium armor bots. It was successful because this Typhoon went down. And now it looks like they're focusing on these Sweeples who might be trying to screen or do some sort of like control of the field and prevent these battleships from DPSing. Especially, I'm assuming they're going for these Blackbirds, because I'm guessing these Blackbirds are being a huge headache to try.
Well, they're not trying hard enough as they've just lost another Confessor, and the Fleet Hurricane is being webbed down and completely locked out of applying anything. The jams are apparently working perfectly, as the Augur's been completely and utterly unable to rep anything on the field.
Yeah, and they've been doing it pretty successfully, since you can see the other jam icons are at least attempted on other ships. So while they are primarily focusing on keeping the Augur out of this fight, they are also not putting all their eggs in one basket and just primarily focusing on him. And with that, a Fleet Hurricane, their first Fleet Hurricane, actually went down. The Sweeple's taking heavy fire into Triumvirate.
Yes, VYDRA all their ships are surviving excellently. You can see that the reps of Nika Noiser are being switched off to anything that's even taking a shred of damage on the armor. But it looks like Triumvirate, they tried so hard and they got so far, but in the end, it just didn't even matter.
Exactly, and VYDRA made a smart play by bringing these Blackbirds and immediately getting rid of that Augur in this fight. I mean, the Augur's still alive, but I don't think, I'm wondering if he's ever actually made a successful target lock in this match. They attempted to get rid of these Blackbirds, it didn't pay off. They ended up losing their whole support fleet, and they lost all their DPS, and now they're just cleaning the field.
Yeah, with the Oniros having been banned, these might actually be a more racial jammers that have deliberately been brought. Triumvirate not having really brought a whole lot in the way of any sort of armor logistics, I believe, other than Valente, and their shield setups not having worked, it's a reasonable guess to assume that they would have to go with an Amar Tech 2 or Tech 1 logistics cruisers, so we'll play by them in picking what have to have been racial jammers.
Yeah, very successful, and now the Augur is left. I think, what's that saying? Find those who hate ECM, jam them first, kill them last, and I'm guessing the Augur falls in that group. And with that, we're going to send it back to the boys in the studio.
just made me drop my fucking biscuit in my tea. I hate you.
I'm in a mower. What is this hot drop like? Number 19. Ah! Really a Titan for a mower? Dude hasn't been on a legitimate kill. Alright, just small ballers, mate. Small ballers.
Hey guys, welcome back. VYDRA there, bringing a modified version of their previous comp with Astartes and Blackbirds against Tri's Typhoon Fleet Hurricane team. Suetonia, we've seen Typhoon Fleet issues do fantastically in this tournament, as we expected them to do. What's the core difference between a Typhoon Fleet and a regular Typhoon? Why is the regular Typhoon performing so poorly compared to its bigger brother?
So the Typhoon, because it's not a faction ship, it has 50% less buffer overall. Also, I believe it has one less mid, so it has a lot less utility. And it also has one less utility height on top of that, and a smaller drone bay.
In essence, everything is the
Yes, everything is worse. Everything is worse. The hull bonuses as well are very, very different. The regular Foon gets a bonus to, I believe it's rate of fire and application for cruisers and torps. And then the Fleet Foon gets a huge damage bonus. One of them to the missile weapon systems and one of them to autocannons because it's got that Mimitar split bonus. However, Rocket, what did you think of that match? Do you think Tri had a hope there, or were they just beaten before they got on field?
I think they were, in honesty. I don't think they really had a chance of winning that match. They got completely controlled. The control bar for VYDRA went all the way to the end and stayed there for the majority of the match. They didn't... Tri didn't seem to bring any form of painters or E-War at all. If they were able to apply their damage, even if they weren't being controlled, it wouldn't have been great because of the lack of painters and mostly using missiles for weapon systems. They just got taken apart, and it was very well executed by VYDRA.
So do you guys think